Frank, thank you very much for your very kind introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor for me to be here tonight to say a few words about someone who really epitomizes the definition of what it takes to be a great American. And to help him receive in absentia one of Washington's most meaningful awards, the Keeper of the Flame. I'm honored to be here to pay this tribute to this great American public servant who passed away last week after serving his nation for 43 years in the Congress of the United States as the House of Representatives. And his remarkable service was also preceded by 10 years of service in the Florida Senate. The man Washington got used to calling Mr. Chairman served as chairman of the full House Appropriations Committee and twice as the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee on Defense. He was also a member of the House Special Select Intelligence Committee during his lengthy career. Bill Young was a gentle and compassionate man, and he wielded his enormous influence with quiet dignity and thoughtful consideration, with a focus on simply doing the right thing for the security of the country he loved so much. Knowledgeable, well-respected and admired by his peers, willing to compromise for the common good, he was always more than willing to reach across the aisle, to reach across the river, to reach across the Capitol, to simply get things done. His view of Congress's responsibility was simple, straightforward, and right out of the Constitution. Raise, maintain, train, equip standing armies and navies. And yes, he even came to include the Air Force in that as well over time. Cordell's under Bill Young, congressional delegations, always focused on finding time for the troops. He talked to them. He cooked for them aboard ship. He served meals in the mess halls, especially on holidays. He always wanted to pass a defense bill each year, especially in those years when troops were in harm's way, and he considered that a sacred duty. To injured troops, he gave special attention, and his wife Beverly gave special affection. Hundreds of visits to Bethesda and Walter Reed here in Washington with his wife Beverly, and woe be unto the staff that was found lacking in the degree of care they were providing for their troops. He once flew a Marine medevac on his own plane from Kuwait to Landstuhl, Germany, and stayed there with him until he was able to fly to Bethesda. And once the Marine was well enough to go home, the Youngs found out that the Marine had no home to return to. So they took him in their home, treated him like a son, supported him for several years, helped him in his recovery and rehabilitation, and helped him get the job that he now has in the Veterans Administration in the state of Idaho. Bill Young was a man of vision. He knew what was worth supporting and what was not worth supporting. He was a champion of making the all-volunteer force work. I can tell you that Marines would not be flying either the Harrier or the Ospreys today had it not been for him and his trust and confidence in the testimony, both public and private, relating to those programs. He was an enthusiastic supporter of Ronald Reagan's 600-ship Navy, and Bill Young's role as an appropriator was extremely important in helped to bring about the end of the Soviet Union. He had the foresight to take care of the Coast Guard before the Coast Guard had its own budget, so they could be ready to accomplish their increasingly important missions in support of our national objectives. Aside from defense, not too many people know that Bill Young started a bone marrow donor registry program when others at NIH thought it would be too hard to find enough donors. They estimated that he would find no more than 100,000. He found 9 million. And the program has saved thousands of lives. He helped fund improved breast cancer centers so patients did not have to wait for screening and so that they could take advantage of early detection. As a former Commandant, I could not have asked for a better friend in high places. He's done more for the Marines and the Navy and our sister services than anyone will ever know. When the going got tough, Bill Young was there asking, "What do you need and how can I help?" So earlier you heard Buzz Hefty talk about the special tie between Randy West and the Congressman and Randy West Jr. And young Randy is a story unto himself. See, he was orphaned on the battlefield during the Kosovo conflict and ended up in an orphanage in Montenegro, where he was discovered by the Wests. Bill Young obtained a meeting between General West and the president of Montenegro, who approved a waiver to the law, to the Montenegrin law, so that the West, Randy and Robin, could adopt the little boy, who is now, as you can see, happy and healthy and playing in his high school baseball team as an American citizen. Randy, we're very proud of you. There's a little more. The Wests also adopted a little girl who they named Billy Angel, and she is now 4 years old. Billy, obviously, is for Bill Young, and Angel is after Beverly Angelo Young, Bill Young's wife, who, as many here well know, is her own force of nature where the welfare of troops is concerned. The relationship between the Youngs and the Wests is material for a good novel. As a matter of fact, and I guess I'm not giving away a Marine Corps secret here, but when Bill Young was chairing the markup of the defense bill some years ago, he invited then active duty Brigadier General West into the markup. That doesn't happen very often, and when it does, you don't want to tell your sister services about it. But I guess the statute of limitations has run its course. So let's just say that these two families, one military and one congressional, done more for the men and women in uniform than they will ever be given credit for, and that's just the way they want it. So when we reflect on the current disorder in our government and people ask what it takes to fix things, I think they do well to remember the quiet man from Florida with the bright, optimistic smile and the kind heart and learn from his example. Learn how to govern, learn how to live, and learn how to value the things that really matter to the nation. Thank you very much for being here and listening to these remarks. Bill Young was, in fact, a real keeper of the flame throughout his entire life. Thank you.
Stand by. We're going to present the award.